everybody knows how to develop a quarterback. You're assuming that you're going into a program. I mean, I'm telling you, this is not, there's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback or calling an offense. So are you saying, I mean, just like we'd rank quarterbacks 1 to 32, do you rank offensive coordinators 1 to 32? Do you rank quarterback coaches 1 to 32? Well, what if you had the 32nd ranked coordinator in someone's mind, or the 32nd ranked quarterback coach? How is he getting a level of development that the guy who's first is getting?
Prepare to see Tom Brady's legendary composure in a whole new light. Even goats have their breaking points. The quarterback didn't just lose his cool, he went full Super Bowl overtime on Kevin Stefanski after Shedeur Sanders unveiled dirty tactics so wild they make soap operas look tame. This shocking moment rewrites how you'll ever watch a Browns game again. Buckle up, because the chaos that unfolded is nothing short of spectacular.
And if he wants to play Dylan, trot him out there. Keep explaining to us why he's playing, and it's going to show us in real time you don't know what you're talking about. Because you told us in the draft this was your hand-picked quarterback. It is the exact reason Shedeur Sanders doesn't get reps, because he's going to give every opportunity for Dylan Gabriel to throw his way out of purgatory. It's the reason he dropped back 58 times against the Steelers. The jig is up, Kevin. We understand what it is. We get it. And when you don't...
Tom Brady had faced it all: relentless defenses, strict referees, even father time. But what Kevin Stefanski pulled in Cleveland? That finally cracked him. The man who once radiated Super Bowl-level calm was now pacing like football's moral compass had just plunged straight into Lake Erie.
I really hope somebody trades for Shedeur Sanders. I've seen enough of Dylan Gabriel, and obviously Kevin Stefanski has not.
I hate what's going on with Shedeur. I still got hope, though. You know, right after the game, coaches, sometimes they just say shit. He got to have his own meeting with the owner. Maybe in that meeting, he going to say, hey, 18 QBR, get him the fuck out of there, bro. Let's put Shedeur in right now. You're almost giving up on a great defense and a solid run game in the shitty NFC North. If he come and bring a spark, you might go 8-9.
Well, it just shows how much they hate Shedeur.
I got to understand why everybody thinks Stefanski hates the kid. Why is that?
Clear as day.
Because it's clear as day.
This guy's been coach of the year twice, and he wants to win as bad as anybody else.
This wasn't strategy, it was pure sabotage. Brady wasn't going to stay silent while Cleveland did what it does best: turn promise into chaos. It all began with a single, seemingly harmless question from a reporter: was Stefanski considering giving Shedeur Sanders a chance? After all, the Browns were sitting at 1 to 3.
I don't think he's going to be the coach to get us past a certain point. And we've seen it for 6 years now, and if you're not going to change at this point, it's not going to happen.
They're probably going to win 5 games this year. That's being generous the rest of the way. That's 3 more wins. Maybe the Jets, Titans, and somebody else. The Bengals
Raiders.
week 18, or Raiders, sure. So, but the point is that would make him 8-26 across 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And if you go back and track the history of the NFL, not many coaches who didn't have their first year be the struggle year have survived this kind of...
The locker room looked like a scene straight out of a hostage video. Shedeur was right there, fully healthy, firing perfect darts in warm-ups. The answer seemed obvious, but Stefanski chose chaos. His response was football's version of, "Don't ask about the future, I'm too busy losing." That's when Brady finally lost it.
The local Cleveland media keep going relentless on Shedeur Sanders. He entitled, distracted, developing slow, can't learn the playbook, not getting practice reps with the scout team, not getting practice reps at all. But what if I told you? Then don't none of that got to do nothing with football. This goes deeper than people realize. If y'all ain't seen the Tom Brady came out on Colin Cowherd, now this is pertaining to the Browns saying they developing quarterbacks.
The man who built an empire on opportunity watched in disbelief as a coach buried talent under ego and called it leadership. Rewind to where this circus began. The Browns were supposed to be reborn, a young core, a defense that hits like a tax audit, and a shiny new quarterback waiting in the wings. Shedeur Sanders, the kid with swagger, pedigree, and a highlight reel so dazzling it could make a punter cry, was supposed to be the spark. Cleveland had hope again, which, historically, is the most dangerous thing you can give this city. Then came the twist: Stefanski didn't want him. Shedeur wasn't his pick, he belonged to the general manager. And if there's one thing coaches despise more than losing, it's being told who should lead the team. Instead of fostering open competition, Stefanski built a fortress of excuses: back tightness, not ready, still learning the system. Meanwhile, Shedeur was throwing lasers in pregame, listed as a medical mystery, while the medical staff quietly shrugged. He's fine, but let's not ruin the coach's weekend. Fans saw it, the locker room saw it, even the water boy probably saw it. Yet Stefanski held firm, treating losing beautifully as if it were some badge of honor. That's when Brady, comfortably in his post-retirement glow, started watching the film. Dillon Gabriel, the rookie starter, appeared on screen, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a highlight reel that doubled as a sleep aid.
So many rookies around him, he's a rookie himself, and that this offense is a work in progress and might not be a well-oiled machine in week 1 or 2 of him.
I understand the question. I would just tell you our focus is just getting him up to speed, getting our younger players up to speed. But that's our job during the work week at practice, so that we can see constant improvement by those guys.
Yet there he was, game after game, being developed while Shedeur polished helmets on the sideline. Brady couldn't believe it. Development? This looked more like witness protection. You could almost hear his internal monologue boiling over. When I was his age, I was out there taking hits from linebackers who smelled like regret and turf paint. That's how you learn. But Stefanski had a different philosophy: protect the project, protect the ego, and protect the narrative that the coach always knows best. And just like that, the Browns became the NFL's version of an art film, beautifully tragic, utterly confusing, and guaranteed to end in disappointment. Then things got gloriously messy. Shedeur may have been quiet, but social media wasn't. The man started liking posts. Dangerous, spicy, algorithm-breaking posts. Ones that said things like, "Free Shedeur" and "Let the kid cook." Every double tap felt like a subtle punch to Stefanski's playbook. Fans went ballistic. Comments sections turned into war zones. Every talk show from Boston to Boise ran segments titled, "What's Wrong in Cleveland?" And in the middle of it all, Brady drops his analysis like a tactical nuke. He doesn't do subtle. Weeks of dissecting quarterback play, leadership, trust, giving young talent a chance, culminated in watching Cleveland do the exact opposite, benching potential like it was radioactive.
Not behind Drew, who was a franchise quarterback, right? In my second year, it's training camp, and we had a very good quarterback coach named Dick Rabine, and God rest his soul. Unfortunately, he passed away in training camp and of a heart attack. And it was a very difficult loss for our team. And the way that we found a way to continue on that season is Bill Belichick became more of a quarterback coach than we ever imagined him being a quarterback coach. He was obviously a head coach, very involved in defensive game planning.
To Brady, it was heresy. This was the man who turned an injury to Drew Bledsoe into a dynasty. He knows the power of a next man up. So when he saw Shedeur wasting away while the Browns limped through another 3-point disaster, he lost it. And true to form, Brady didn't just criticize the decision, he torched the entire philosophy behind it. Stefanski, of course, pretended not to notice. There he stood on the sideline, headset on, staring into the void like a man who'd misplaced his soul somewhere around second down. The Browns' offense looked allergic to touchdowns. Fans started chanting. The camera cut to Myles Garrett, looking ready to sack his own coach. Yet Stefanski repeated the same line every week: "Our focus is where we are right now." Translated from coach speak, "We have no idea what we're doing, but please stop asking." Brady watched the collapse like a documentary on how not to run a franchise. You could practically see the veins popping in his temple every time the Browns ran yet another screen pass on 3rd and 11. To him, this wasn't just bad football, it was an insult to the craft. The GOAT spent 2 decades building a religion around preparation and accountability, and here was Cleveland treating quarterback management like improv night at a basement comedy club.
I think at this point, we rather have Kevin Stefanski and lose than go a different direction and be successful. We got the Bengals fans chanting at you, thank you. We done already had to deal with the Sam White. You don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, and we still getting laughed at.
They weren't thanking Stefanski, they were thanking Andrew Barry.
Same difference. And Kevin Stefanski, same difference. I don't like neither one of them. They could both get up out of here.
But let's go deeper. This wasn't just incompetence. It was politics. Shedeur's very presence on the roster was a threat. If he went out there and lit it up, Stefanski's entire blueprint would implode. All those press conferences about trusting the process? Gone. All those claims that Gabriel just needed time? Shredded. The coach would look like the guy who benched his best player out of spite, and in NFL circles, that's the equivalent of walking into a steakhouse and ordering a salad. You just don't do it.so. Instead of risking humiliation, Stefanski did what insecure leaders always do: he buried the evidence. Meanwhile, Brady kept hammering the same mantra on every broadcast: let the young talent cook. He might as well have been holding a neon sign that read, "Play Shedeur now." The football world connected the dots immediately. Brady wasn't just talking philosophy anymore, he was talking Cleveland. And Stefanski knew it. The pressure cooker hit critical mass. Inside the Browns' locker room, tension hung thick enough to cut with a penalty flag. The defensive players carried the team while the offense sputtered, averaging points you could count on one hand. Receivers side-eyed Gabriel like, "Bro, throw it more than 10 yards." The offensive coordinator looked like he needed therapy after every drive.
No, it's extremely important to keep your mental in the best place, because that's what my game is played. My game's not played from my legs and not even just my arm. So I know longevity, the all-time greats, what's Tom Brady's best trait? His mental. He's able to think. So if you have those traits of greatness and I know where I'm heading, then why wouldn't the franchise pick me? You got the ultimate cheat code.
And Shedeur? He just smiled. Quiet, patient, dangerous, because here's the thing about Shedeur: he thrives in chaos. He's been under a spotlight since high school, coached by a Hall of Fame father, and is used to pressure, cameras, and critics waiting for him to fail. This Cleveland drama? Child's play. While the rest of the team unraveled, he was plotting, liking a post here, showing up early to practice there, making sure every teammate knew he was ready if, when the call came slowly, the locker room began to shift. Whispers grew louder. Players started saying it out loud: why isn't he playing? The mutiny had begun. The Browns' offense looked determined to set a record for most punts in a half. Gabriel missed throws, receivers threw tantrums, and the fans started booing before halftime. Stefanski stood frozen, jaw clenched, watching his masterpiece of stubbornness crumble in real time. Brady was in the broadcast booth, watching every frame like it was performance art. You could see him shaking his head, muttering, "This is why you play your best guy." Every time Gabriel checked down for a 2-yard gain, the camera cut to Brady, a man silently screaming. And then it happened, fourth quarter, down by double digits, the crowd chanting for Shedeur so loudly the cameras shook.
Better than Dylan Gabriel, better than Bailey Zappi. Shedeur would be playing. I just don't know if it's that clear. Maybe he hasn't done enough.
We don't know.
I know.
Stefanski's been saying Shedeur's doing everything right. He's in there grinding. Stefanski won't give him a shot.
Are the players coming out saying we want Shedeur?
Myles Garrett made a statement yesterday.
He might as well said it.
Then yeah, I think they should play Shedeur. But I do know this: the first 4 games that Dylan Gabriel's played has not been very good.
I just believe with all my heart and soul in Shedeur Sanders. He's it. He's got a Brady-esque arm, and he's tough as they come and deadly accurate. He was born to play this position in this league at this level. If you throw him into this fire, and it is a dumpster fire at the moment, he'll light it up.
Stefanski, boxed in by his own ego, finally cracked. He sent the kid in. The stadium erupted like a volcano. Brady leaned forward in his chair, grinning like he already knew what was coming. And Shedeur? He didn't blink. First play, 20-yard strike. Second play, 40-yard dime on the sideline. Third play, touchdown. The crowd lost its mind. Brady nearly levitated. Stefanski? The man looked like he'd seen a ghost, his coaching credibility evaporating before his eyes. From that moment, the narrative flipped. Cleveland wasn't a tragedy anymore, it was a revolution. Shedeur commanded the offense like he'd been running it all season. Receivers lit up, the defense started smiling again. The city that had suffered for decades finally had a spark of hope. And the funniest part? It all happened the moment the coach stopped getting in the way. Brady's reaction was priceless. He didn't need to say a word. His expression said it all: told you so. But the story's final, chaotic twist was Stefanski's meltdown. While Shedeur was saving the season, the coach quietly imploded. Every touchdown made him look worse. Every cheer for Shedeur sounded like a boo for him. Press conferences turned brutal, reporters demanding answers. Why did it take so long?
Start Shedeur, I promise you, that stadium and that team and that offense, whether it goes great or it doesn't, at very least you're going to get the Jackson Dart effect that the Giants
you will.
had
That's a good.
in New York, to where they said, all right, we got a shot. I believe in this guy.
And you got to do it at home right now. You got a home game.
A winnable home. It's
a
the
winnable home
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
If Dylan do play, is the crowd going to come in the game like, if Shedeur plays, it's going to be lit up in there.
Yeah, it will be.
You know what I'm saying?
It will
The
be.
defense going to come flying around. Man, it's the perfect time to start you a little streak if you want to start you a little streak.
We all know Stefanski is fighting for his job life.
Analysts replayed every bad decision like a crime scene. In a single week, Stefanski went from head coach to headline cautionary tale. And Cleveland, being Cleveland, embraced the chaos. They love a comeback story almost as much as they love firing coaches. Soon, the whole football world was laughing not just at the Browns, but at the absurdity of it all. Brady, the paragon of discipline and control, had somehow become the spiritual guide for Cleveland's madness. His rants about accountability had accidentally sparked a quarterback revolution. Stefanski's stubbornness became the league's favorite meme. And Shedeur Sanders? He didn't gloat. He didn't need to. His play did the talking. Every completion was revenge served warm, with a side of poetic irony. By the season's final stretch, the Browns were unrecognizable. The offense had swagger. Fans were back in love. Cameras couldn't get enough of Shedeur's calm smirk. It was cinematic, the rookie everyone doubted, the coach who tried to bury him, and the legend calling it all from afar. Even Brady cracked a grin on his next broadcast, the kind that says, "You're welcome, Cleveland." But Cleveland being Cleveland, prosperity never lasts. As wins stacked up, the internal politics returned. Stefanski tried to reclaim the narrative, invoking trusting the process and building the right culture. Nobody bought it. The front office leaked stories about philosophical differences. Fans wanted him gone. Players barely acknowledged him. And through it all, Shedeur just kept throwing.
I think that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. If I was an NFL GM and I had a pick to where I needed a quarterback, he'd be the first quarterback taken in this year's draft.
I admire Shedeur from the standpoint that he's playing the position the way it's always been intended to play. You know, rhythm, timing, footwork, all matching up. And then you put on top of that the ability to extend plays looking to throw. He's not a runner first, but he is capable.
He had become the calm in the storm, the eye of the Cleveland Hurricane. And then came the final act. Playoff hopes on the line. A national TV game. Cleveland versus their arch-nemesis, the team that symbolized everything they weren't, competent. The build-up was biblical, and the crowd? They didn't chant the team name. They chanted Shedeur's. That's when you knew Cleveland had flipped forever. In the days that followed, the meltdown went nuclear. Reports of locker room tension surfaced. Anonymous players called out toxic favoritism. Stefanski allegedly cleaned out his office before the season even ended. The team tried to spin it as a mutual parting, but everyone knew the truth, the end of an era defined by stubbornness, ego, and wasted potential. Cleveland had finally learned the lesson Brady had been preaching all along: greatness doesn't wait for permission. And that's the beauty of it. The whole saga started with a coach refusing to play his quarterback and ended with that same quarterback becoming the reason he got fired. Shedeur didn't need revenge speeches or dramatic interviews, his play said it all.
So Stefanski knows if he gives in to Shedeur, I think he's a goner. You know, like that's going to be the end of him, because he's dug in internally with the owner and the GM that he just wants no part of Shedeur. He doesn't like him. He doesn't like the way he handles himself. He doesn't like the way he carries himself in the locker room and the social media and all those things that nobody liked about him, or a lot of NFL people didn't like before the draft. So it's going to take the owner stepping in and saying, it's time. We're going to do this whether you like it or not. And that will mean Stefanski's out.
He got the last laugh simply by being undeniable. Brady didn't need to rub it in, his philosophy had already won. And Cleveland? They did what they always do, burned everything down. Only this time, something beautiful rose from the ashes. By the time the dust settled, there was a rookie quarterback with a city in his hands, a fired coach weighed down by a lifetime of regrets, and Tom Brady somewhere on a beach, sipping something expensive, shaking his head and smiling. Because deep down, he knew. He knew how it was always going to end. Not with a press conference or a headline, but with Shedeur Sanders turning chaos into destiny and Cleveland collapsing in the most Cleveland way possible. It's poetic. The franchise that spent decades searching for a savior found one the moment they stopped trying to control him. And the man who tried to bury him ended up buried by his own decisions. That's football. That's irony. That's Cleveland.